How's it going, Fresh Trader? So welcome back to the inside of my screen. As you can see here, we have the first pair on the list being the AUDUSD. So in recent times, we've been seeing the AUDUSD make series of high highs and high lows. This is not a coincidence, as you can see already. So this is a low here, this is a high, this is a higher low, so this is a higher high, this is a high low, this is a higher high here. So however somewhere along the week we had the market start to give us this kind of pullback like so, and I can tell you that this is not even a coincidence, because I can see that all things being equal, what this means is that the AUDUSD is most likely going to continue higher. All right, so we already have an internal trend which is this low here, this is a high, this higher low, higher high. So invariably this market ought to come down and test this level properly, and then we now decide what we actually want to do with the AUDUSD. So going into next week, what I'm actually looking out for is a pullback, a deeper pullback into regions of about 0.77000, like so. Once you say a decent pullback like so, this is exactly how it will look on the 4-hour time frame. So we simply scale down, okay, and then this is it for you, okay. So this is the recent low, this is the recent high. So all things being equal, okay, provided that everything aligns technically, we should see this guy pull back into this base like so, and then we go long from there on the AUDUSD. So that's that for the AUDUSD, quick one. So technically we're actually pointing bullish on this guy. So let's see how things look on the weekly time frame. Weekly time frame is quite bullish. So this is how things look. We're actually broken out of this downward trend like so, and so all things being equal, we should say pullback on AUDUSD all the way back to 0.7000, like so. Once you see that pullback confirmed, then we're actually good to go. Okay, so of course there'll be an entry criteria which already know that we teach in the mentorship program like so, but we understand that procedure students actually go long on this pair, all things being equal, once all conditions are met. All right, so that's just that for the AUDUSD real quick. On the flip side, you will be noticing a disparity in terms of correlation between AUDUSD and GBPUSD and even the euro dollar. Yeah, so reason being, one of the things you need to understand is that it's not every time that correlation works in the market. Okay, we talk about these things in depth. It's not every time that correlation works in the market. Sometimes you just have to trade individual pairs as they are. All right, so for pound sterling like so, we actually went short pound sterling in the mentorship room. Once again, the link is in the pin comment like so. So actually went short on this pair. All right, so it was a very simple one. Yeah, I could see that whenever the market comes up to the upper bound of this supply level, it was a very simple thing. We just everything provided that the market remains underneath this yellow bar like so, we're actually looking to short this pair. All right, so nothing extraordinary. In fact, this is the pair that we actually went short on most recent. So the entry was very simple. And now you need to understand something. Yeah, provided this market stays in this range, it is quite indecisive. All right, so don't go looking for 300 pips, 400 pips move here. What you simply need to do is scalp your supply and demand level trade at this point here, like so. I can actually permit you to go ahead and do that. Okay, this has got to be one of the, this is about 1 year now in this range. This started in on the 19th of May 2025, and today's date is currently 16th of May, so about 3 days to making it exactly 1 year in this range. That's amazing. All right, so but just so you know, yeah, whenever a market like this breaks out, it breaks out exponentially. Okay, it goes in exponential proportion. So what we simply did was scale down to the daily time frame. Very simple. Okay, daily time frame. As soon as we saw, now I've said this over and over again on this channel, whenever you see the market pop up like this and then fails to sustain in terms of the upward trajectory, and it falls all the way back down, then comes to retest that level, it's going to drop. Okay, it's always gonna drop. All right, so it's always gonna drop. So it was a very simple entry. Once we had a condition met, say we actually went short on this pair. The students make money. I'm currently on this trader already, so making money. All right, so moving forward on the pound sterling as it stands, I am not calling any big moves at the moment until I see a clear direction. Once we clear out this 1.31463 range like so, we're actually good to go either to the downside, or we cleared in 1.37 0 region like so, and then we're actually good to blow through to the roof on the upside. All right, so that's just that for the pound sterling like so. So scaling all the way to the euro dollar. So euro dollar also has a similar play, as you can see here. Yeah. So these two markets are still playing around in the range. In fact, the one that seems to have a clearer picture is the AUDUSD. All right, so but all things being equal, euro USD, we are not calling any big shots at the moment. We're actually short on this pair in the mentorship room. However, to call major moves, you need to see the market commit to a direction. Either it blows through this blue bar like so at 1.14417 like so, or it just gives us a clearer perspective as to what's actually happening at the moment. Because if we scale down to the weekly time frame, it's the exact same thing that is happening here. And we're seeing the head and shoulders pattern, but this is not the first time we're seeing head and shoulders pattern here. Okay, we had double tops, and so you're just playing around. Okay, so I love the market pick a side, let it decide whatever direction it wants to go. However, we still make money shorting this guy, courtesy supply and demand. All right, so that's just what we do. Okay, now subsequently, if I do see a breakout from this level like so, around this 1.14417 like so, then we have a free drop all the way to 1.1084 1.10848. all right, so that's just that for the pound sterling and the euro dollar at the moment. As I promised you, it's always going to be 3 pairs. Yeah, 3 pairs that have what it takes to pay us at the moment. I'm not really here to bore you with all kinds of terminologies. We are here to make money, and that's as simple as it is. All right, so 3 pairs, and that's it. Anything other than that, I can't really guarantee you anything at the moment. For gold, we are still short gold. Okay, my bias on gold still remains the same. Yeah, once we clear, listen, first level target for gold is at this level. Okay, that's the first level target. Once we clear here, it is straight to 3,900 basis, rather dollars an ounce for gold. That's just that about that. Okay, and so in the next video, I'll break down properly how you can actually read this market structure, and then see how you can actually make money yourself trading this market. For now, trade safe, apply proper risk management, and I'll catch you guys in my next screen. Peace out.